Hello and welcome to the second part in the series for returning to fitness. This is a chair and mat workout. However, there is a break sort of halfway through, so you might actually feel you've worked hard enough and you don't have to go onto the mat for the second part, and that's something you can then build up and work towards. Again, whatever you're nurturing, whatever your injury might have been, if you're recovering from an injury or if you're recovering from an illness and your levels of fatigue are really high, don't push yourself, listen to your body, be kind to your body and modify wherever you have your area that needs a bit more extra care and TLC. So, if you're ready, join me on the chair and the mat.
Let's begin in Tadasana mountain pose, so the feet are parallel hip width apart. You're not leaning back into the chair, you're holding yourself upright, pelvic floor is lifted, navel is drawing up and in, palms up or palms down on the thigh, whichever's comfortable for your shoulders. Close off your eyes and come into the breath. Feel the breath going in through the nostrils and going out through the nostrils. Feel the ribs expand on the inhale and contract on the exhale. And we'll set the group intention, the class intention, to keep our mind focused on the breath and body throughout our practice, so that hopefully we don't get distracted and go too deep, push ourselves too far and cause ourselves any kind of injury or problem. Connecting with our breath. Open the eyes, lower your chin to your chest on an exhale. And on the inhale, leading with your nose, looking up towards the ceiling. Exhale, chin returns to chest. Go slowly, feel all the different muscles that are being used doing this movement. Inhale, looking up to the ceiling. Exhale, returning to chest. Inhale to centre. Exhale, looking over the right shoulder just as far as is comfortable, don't force it. Inhale, centre. Exhale to the left. Inhale, centre. Exhale, right. Make sure your pelvic floor and your navel are still drawing up and in. Inhale, centre. Exhale, left. Inhale, centre. Take any movement. If you need to wiggle a shoulder, then let the arms come down. Inhale your right arm up. Exhale, leaning over to the left into your side stretch, so you feel that right side of the body lengthening. Both seat bones firmly on the chair. We're not lifting the buttock. Breathing here. Exhale the navel in, inhale back to centre. Lifting up the left arm, keep it long, and then exhale over to the right for our side stretch on this side. Pelvic floor still lifted, navel still drawing in, working our deep core muscles from within. Exhale, draw the navel in. Inhale, return to centre. Carefully cross your right knee over your left and then bring your left hand outside of that knee, and then the right fingertips come behind the sacral area. Inhale, length. Exhale into our twist. Ardha Matsyendrasana. So we're also getting a bit of an IT band stretch here, but if crossing the leg is not available, do not worry, just keep both feet flat to the mat. What works on one side may not work on the other. If you're recovering from a hip replacement, you know you can't cross your legs. Come back to the centre and then carefully switch the legs if you're crossing the legs. And then bring your right arm, so the back of the right palm is on the outside of that left knee. Left fingertips come behind, onto the seat, just behind your tailbone. Lengthen your spine and then exhale into your Ardha Matsyendrasana. Breathing here. Lengthen the spine is the more important part rather than how far we twist. Exhale the navel in, inhale, return to centre. Uncrossing the legs, hands on front of the knees, coming to our cat and cow on your inhale, leaning forward, chest comes forward, arching the spine, looking up. Bittilasana. On your exhale, rounding through the spine, chin comes to chest, into our cat Majariasana. Inhale, cow, Bittilasana, looking up, arching the spine. Exhale, chin to chest, rounding through the spine. Cat, Majariasana. One more, inhale. Try to make the movement last the length of your inhale. And then exhale, again, making the rounding movement last the length of your exhale. Return to neutral. Then lifting one heel at a time and then lowering and lifting the other heel. Start getting some movement into the calf. Lift the heel on an inhale, lower the heel on an exhale. And then start to keep both of them going at the same time. So as one heel lifts, the other lowers. Inhaling as one lifts and exhaling as that lowers. Try to be aware of all the different muscles in the feet, the lower legs, going up into the thighs, into the buttocks. Then let's come into Warrior Two. So turn that right knee out to the side and then shimmy on the chair so the whole of that right thigh is on the chair. And then heel toe that left leg to the back with the toes pointing forward, the foot in line with the short edge of the mat. Hands to the waist, hips are forward towards the front of the chair. Arms out to the side and gaze beyond that right middle finger. And the job here is keeping that right knee from falling in. Pelvic floor's lifted, navel's drawing in, shoulders are down the back, and don't forget to breathe. Virabhadrasana 2. Great strength pose. On your exhale, place the right hand on your right thigh. Inhale the left arm up and maybe it goes over, maybe not, and maybe you slide onto the forearm, but you don't have to. Into our extended side angle. A great stretch from the side, the left foot all the way up to the left fingertips. Gaze down, put that hand back on the thigh and on an inhale with your navel in, using your arm to help lift you back up so your back doesn't take the strain. Turn that palm up, inhale, lean forward, exhale, coming into our reverse. So the left arm is down on that left leg as the right arm is up to the sky. And here is Manicat. I'm looking after him for lovely neighbours. Exhale, come back into Warrior Two, hands to the waist. We're shifting into our Anjaneyasana, so our hips are now going to be facing towards that front knee. That back knee, the left knee, comes underneath the left hip, and then you're on the toes of that back foot. Hands to the waist, and you can either stay here or inhale the arms up, and maybe the gaze goes up, maybe it doesn't. Drawing that navel in, lifting that pelvic floor still, shoulders down the back. Take up as much space with your arms as you need to. And at any point you can bring your hands back down. Exhale, palms together down to heart center. So you can stay here, hands to the waist, or you can repeat with your arms up towards the ceiling, or you can go to the next level, holding onto the back of the chair. Inhale that navel in really firmly, and then on your exhale you're trying to just lift up from the seat, not far, and then inhale, sit back down. So you're starting to really work that back quad. Exhale, lift, inhale, sit. Exhale, lift, inhale, sit, but with control. Come down carefully. Last one, inhale, sit. Fantastic. Using your hands on the chair, return to the front of the chair, come into a wide-legged child's pose, feet as wide as the chair, toes and knees out slightly. Inhale long, exhale, folding at the hips, and my back is flat. I've not rounded my back. Hands either to the thighs or forearms to the thighs, and then let the head round. 5 breaths in Balasana. Bring your hands onto your thighs, navel in. Inhale, using your arms to lift you back up, not hinging at your back. Let's switch to the other side. Come back to our warrior two. So this time now the left knee is turned out. Make sure the whole of that left thigh is on the chair. Heel toe that right leg back. Don't worry if there's a slight bend in the knee. Toes are forward, foot is in line with the short edge of the mat. Hips to the front of the chair, arms out to the side, gaze beyond your left middle finger. Again, the job is to keep that knee going out. You could be sitting here doing nothing, or you can be working really hard. Drawing that pelvic floor up, navel in, hugging muscle to bone. So we're not flobbling. Exhale, bring that left hand to the thigh. Inhale the right arm up, maybe over, maybe not, and maybe sliding onto that forearm on the thigh. Utthita Parsvakonasana. Keep breathing. Exhale, look down to your toes. Bring that hand back onto the thigh with the navel in. Inhale, support yourself as you come back up to warrior two arms. Front palm up. Inhale to that front leg. Exhale into our reverse. Left arm up, right arm down. Vipariti Virabhadrasana. Such a great strength builder, this pose. Exhale back to warrior two, hands to the waist. Then coming into our Anjaneyasana, our low lunge. So the hips are now heading in the direction of the front thigh. Back knee is underneath the hip, toes are curled. Hands to the waist, and if you want to, you can inhale the arms up, thinking tall out of the waist so you're not scrunching your lumbar spine. Re-engage the pelvic floor and the navel. As soon as our mind thinks of something else, we'll always forget those things. But they're so important at keeping our spine safe, toning our deep core muscles. Palms together, exhale down to heart center. So you can stay here with hands to the waist, or you can bring the arms back up for a second complete low lunge, or if you want to work that quad, hand to the back of the chair, left hand to the waist. Inhale, draw that navel in. Exhale, rise up. Inhale, lower. Exhale, rise. Inhale, lower. It's a small move, controlled. Exhale, rise. Inhale, lower. And in the beginning you may only think it. Exhale, rise, inhale, lower. And you might not lift up at all in the beginning. Don't worry. Return to our wide-legged child's pose. Facing the front of the chair. Exhaling, forward at the hips. Elbows onto the thighs, rounding the head. 5 breaths. Exhale the navel in, hands to the thigh. Inhale, using your arms, rise back up. Let's come into our triangle. So now your left foot is forward and your right leg is out to the side, but with a straight leg, as straight as you can. Shimmy to the edge of your chair so the chair doesn't cut into the thigh. So there's like a 90-degree angle at the legs. Hands to the waist, arms out to the side. Inhale the navel in. Exhale, right arm comes down onto the inside of that right leg. Left arm up towards the ceiling. Now, if the arm going up is too much, you bring that hand to the waist. That's absolutely fine. You don't have to be in the full shape straight away. Exhale, return to arms parallel. Hands to the waist. Using that hand, if you need to pull that knee back in. Triangle on the other side. So shimmy over your chair. So now your right knee is going forward and the left leg is out to the side straight. As straight as you can. Doesn't have to be completely straight. Arms out to the side, navel in. Exhale, bring that left hand onto the inside of the left leg, and maybe the right arm is up to the sky or the ceiling, or maybe the right hand is on the waist. Utthita Trikonasana. Navel in, inhale, rise back up. Hands to the waist, pulling that knee back in, and then come to the back onto your chair, preparing for our seated sun salutations, arms by the side. Inhale to parallel, palms forward, exhale, arms back. Inhale, palms together, maybe looking up overhead. Exhale, hands coming down through to heart center, really pushing between the hands. Then release the hands, hold on to the back of the chair and think forward with the chest, gaze up into a seated cobra. Exhale, release. And again, inhale, parallel, palms forward, exhale, arms back. Inhale, palms together. Exhale, down through heart center, the head may be following. And then bring the arms behind the chair, opening into our seated cobra on an inhale. Exhale, release. Inhale, arms parallel, turn them forward. Exhale, arms back. Inhale, palms above, together. Exhale, through heart center, into our seated cobra. Inhale, gaze up, arching the spine, opening through the chest, through the heart area. Exhale, release. Inhale, arms parallel. Exhale, arms back. Inhale, arms above. Exhale, through heart center. Inhale, seated cobra. Exhale, release. Grab your strap. I happen to have mine handily just behind me. You might need to shimmy to the front of your chair a bit so you can extend your legs long and together. They don't have to be completely straight. Throw the strap around the ball of the feet. Inhale, long. Exhale, leaning forward at the hips. I've not rounded at the back. I've not bent at the waist. Walking the hands down the straps. Chest is still lifted. Gaze to just in front of the toes. Breathing here in our Paschimottanasana, our seated forward fold. Great for the hamstrings. Exhale the navel in. Inhale, carefully rise back up. Remove that strap. Come back into our mountain pose, feet parallel hip width apart. Arms forward. Bend the elbows at 90 degrees and bring your right elbow underneath your left, and maybe you hold onto the shoulders or maybe you bind. Doesn't matter which, and then you bring the elbows up and let the shoulders come down, and that's where the joy of the stretch comes. Garudasana arms, eagle arms, great for between our shoulder blades. Wonderful if you're someone that spends time at a desk, working on a computer, driving a lot. It's good for the shoulders, tops of the arms. Lower the elbows, unravel, rotate those shoulders. Let's come to the other side, arms forward, bend at 90 degrees, and this time bring the left elbow underneath the right, either holding shoulders or binding. Elbows up, and then drop the shoulders down the back. Pelvic floor is still lifted, navel still drawing in, still working the core area. Breathing here. Lower the elbows, unravel, rotate the arms, shake the arms out, do whatever you need to do. Carefully cross your right leg over your left, and we're coming into a pigeon. So it just depends on your hips as to how far you can get that leg into a figure 4 shape, but make sure the right foot is flexed to protect the knee. And then you're inhaling tall. If you're not feeling a stretch in your right outer hip or right glute, you can lean forward, leaning forward at the hips, not rounding through the spine. So your knee could be really high. Don't worry, don't force it down. Or you might not be able to go as far as the ankle onto the knee. Carefully uncross and then recross the other side. And find where you are for your seated pigeon on this one. Make sure that left foot is flexed. So the toes are going back towards the knees. The foot is not pointed. Keep breathing. Carefully uncross. Sit yourself back in the seat so you can lean back into the chair and your back is supported. Palms up on your thighs, close off your eyes. This may be as far as you want to go today. This is a great place to pause. And if so, breathe here in Shavasana. Wait for your breath to return to normal before continuing on with your day. Otherwise, if you want to continue, we're going to come down onto the mat. So using the chair to help you come down. So the left leg is forward, the back leg is back. I've got my hands on my left thigh and I'm sinking my hips forward into a low lunge position. Make sure that the knee doesn't go beyond the ankle, so I've just had to sneak my foot forward a bit. We'll look after our knees. You can stay here or inhale the arms up into our crescent low lunge. Maybe the gaze is forward or the gaze is up. That depends on how steady you're feeling. Pelvic floor's lifted, navel's in. So this is our Anjaneyasana, but on the mat now rather than on the chair. Palms together, down through heart center. Pushing through that front heel, hand is on the chair to come back to kneeling and then step the right foot forward, ready for our low lunge on this side. So again, that right knee is above the right ankle, my hands are on the thigh. Sinking into the front of the left hip, so the left hip flexors this time are getting a stretch. Breathing here. And you can stay here with your hands to the waist or inhale the arms up. Shoulders away from the ears, take up as much space with your arms as you need to. We will all look slightly different in this shape. Palms together, exhaling down through heart center. Hand to the chair, one hand to the waist, push through that front heel to come back to kneeling. Make sure that navel is in against the spine as we come forward onto all fours, tabletop, Padmanasana. Knees are under the hips, wrists are under the shoulders, navel is drawing up and in, and you're really pressing away from the yoga mat with all the fingertips and knuckles. Fingers are as wide as you can get them. So here we're activating our core, our back. On your inhale, come into cow, lowering the belly, lifting the gaze. And on your exhale, come into cat, rounding through the spine, chin to chest. My spine is learning to round again, so it doesn't round very much yet. Inhale, Bittilasana. Belly drops, gaze goes up. Exhale, Majariasana. Drawing that navel up and in, doming up through the shoulder blades, chin comes to chest. One more round, inhale. You are using so many muscles here, so good for our spinal health. And exhale, rounding. Return to neutral. Curl your toes. Carefully sit yourself back onto your heels. Now this is difficult. I've got a hand on the chair to give me some support. Move the little toe if it's getting squashed, and you can rise up if your toes are screaming at you. And give those wrists just a bit of a rotate, bit of a rest before we come back onto all fours. Navel is in, slide your hands down onto the mat. Returning to tabletop. Extend that right leg back, the toes are to the floor, you're pushing through the right heel, stretching out that calf. Try to keep that navel pulling in the whole time here, so we're working our core, our deep back muscles, and on an inhale, see if you can lift that right leg. We're aiming for parallel, but you might not get there at the moment and it may barely lift. It doesn't matter if it barely lifts. 5 breaths here, wherever you are, even if you're thinking lift. Exhale, bring the knee back down. Extend through the left leg, toes are to the floor, push through the heel. For our calf stretch on this side, but again, don't let that navel go. Keep working the deep core. Come forward, shoulders back over the wrists, and on an inhale, see if this leg might lift. Don't worry if it doesn't, just thinking lift is activating the muscles. And then exhale, bring that knee back down. Big toes together, knees as wide as the mat. Sit back on your heels and then walk your hands forward, and maybe your forehead comes all the way down to the mat. It doesn't matter if it doesn't. Let your buttocks rise up as much as they want to. A wide-legged child's pose, giving everything a rest and a stretch. Oh look, the cat's doing it with me. Navel in, inhale, rise back up into tabletop, so bring those wrists back under the shoulders, fingers are spread wide, knees back under the hips, and then hover that right knee up, draw your navel in on an inhale, and on an exhale, try to lift it out to the side a bit. Doesn't have to lift very high. Inhale, back into the midline, exhale, lift, inhale, back to the midline. Keep going, 2 more. We're working our outer hip muscle here, our outer thigh muscles. These don't get worked very much when you walk, so you need to specifically work these. Lower that right knee, hover the left, navel in, exhale, lift that left leg up to the side, like you're a dog cocking its leg. Only go as high as you want to. You just want to activate that muscle. Inhale to the midline, lifting on an exhale. Fantastic. Lower that left knee down. Brilliant. Some really good work there. Now you can either sit back onto the chair for a Shavasana, so your back is supported, you've got your hands on your thighs, you can close off your eyes, or you can lie on your back if that is available to you. Legs long, as wide as the mat, let the feet drop out. Arms by our side, palms up. Let the breathing return to more normal. letting the body integrate all the work that it has done. Wherever you are, gently wiggle your fingers and your toes, rotate your wrists. If you're lying down, rotate your ankles. If you're lying down, bend into your knees to roll onto one side, to rise up either into a seated position, kneeling on the mat, or back into your chair. And if you're on the chair, just lift your back forward slightly so you're not against the back of the chair. Hands to heart center, 2 cleansing breaths. Deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth with noise. One more. Bow your head to your hands, thanking yourself for really taking this time to look after your body. Namaste. I hope you have enjoyed this class, this stepping up in our returning to fitness. Manny's such a gorgeous cat. He's clearly stolen the whole show, but he is just lovely. Please click the subscribe button below if you haven't done so already. There's a link to my website in the description below. Have a visit there. There's some interesting stuff there about poses, how to do them. And thank you so much for watching.